So let's get specific. I know you don't believe, and I don't believe, presidents can't completely control things like the stock market or gas prices. There are a lot of factors.
Sure.
But gas prices were rising well before the Putin invasion. And they started rising when Biden took office. Tell us, Hannah, what are some specific things he has done that have contributed to this? It's not all his fault, but he's definitely contributed significantly. Well, but how?
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because I think Biden's been an atrocious president. I think many of the Democrats' policies have amplified what we're going through, but I hate when people just blame them. Republicans also have some blame here. Trump has some blame here. There's a lot of things that have been going on for the past 2 years that all led to this, beginning with the first stimulus spendings, the bailouts, even some of the tariffs that Trump had put in place. Some of his really bad trade policy was already setting some of these conditions up to be harmful to Americans, to make prices more expensive, to make goods harder to get. And then, of course, you had the lockdowns, which some Republicans and Democrats both supported. So you already had some very problematic conditions being set forth. On top of that, though, you saw Biden come in and basically do everything opposite of what you should do if you want to get control of that situation, right? He did not open up trade. He did not cut spending. He did not signal to the Federal Reserve to stop printing money. In fact, he did the opposite. He first pushed the American quote, quote, rescue plan, which even Vox admits really is what springboarded the current inflation that we're at, spending trillions of more dollars while we're already in debt, while we already have a supply chain that's shut down, while we already have these issues getting basic goods that we need. That's obviously going to exasperate that, and it really is what kicked things into high motion. He would have done more than that had it not, thank God, been for base king Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who stopped that atrocious Build Back Better bill because he wanted to spend trillions more, which would have made it even worse. He also did a lot of really stupid things with his energy policy, coming in and shutting down things like the Keystone Pipeline, making it harder to drill. He recently canceled a couple more leases for drilling where we could have drilled in over 1 million acres of Alaska and also 2 offshore things in Mexico. He canceled those. So he's consistently doing things that make it harder for us to be energy independent and to develop our own resources. He's going the opposite direction of where we should be on things like energy and nuclear to actually get to a place where we could both address climate change and also make sure that we're not making things drastically more expensive for the average person in the process. Then he started meddling in foreign affairs that had nothing to do with us. Russia and Ukraine has nothing to do with us, and yet we have sent billions of dollars overseas. We continue to basically carry out a proxy war over there. We're putting all kinds of tariffs and other protocols in place that are making it harder for us to get those resources. And so it's just been like a huge storm of really, really bad ideas. And then you can get into regulations and just basic barriers they're putting in place to production for oil and gas in the country. The list goes on. Like, what had they not done? I can't think of a single thing, wrong thing that they could have done that they haven't taken the opportunity to do over the past year.
I guess they haven't banned gas entirely. They haven't closed every single plant and yeah, but you're right. They've discouraged it at every turn, and now they're like, who, me? No, look at Putin. And look, obviously, international factors also influence gas prices. The supply has been disrupted by the war, but sweetie, it was going up. It was going up long before Putin invaded. Inflation is still very high, even when you factor out gas. So the whole Putin's price hike thing is really a desperate, pathetic attempt to deflect blame rather than look inward at the Biden administration and other parts of the federal government and say, what have we done wrong? Because there's a lot there, but that would require actually honestly looking in the mirror, taking accountability, and changing something or admitting fault. And they'd rather just gaslight us, and apparently they're not deterred by how expensive gas is.
That's exactly right. Well said.